If you could do anything to push women representation in politics, in governance, what will you do?
I will remove all money problem
Mm.
because that's our problem. Our major problem is that money.
Mm.
Yes, that's what it is. You remove the form problem, and
Yes.
then you give women the cash
Mm.
to say, okay, give us a head start. Give us a head start, and you see how women will manage this money.
Mm.
They will manage.
Hey, this is Sassy Real on Click Niger online channel. This is where we spotlight conversations that shape our future as women and as a voice that matter in this country. My name is Olashade Akinola, and I have my co-presenter with me in the studio, all glammed up for this hot, spicy topic that we are discussing. Hi.
Hi, Fula. My name is Asma Usani. Welcome to the show.
All right, so we are unpacking 35% women inclusion in governance. Is the initiative working? Is it just a seat at the table or a seat on paper? Women still hold only a single digit position percentage, right, in governance in Nigeria now, and that's a a very bad one. Let's just use that word. So to dig into this with clarity and experience, we're joined in the studio by Ambassador Aju Morgan Elumelu, the convener of Morgan Elumelu Foundation, founded in 2008. That's a long time. She is a Nigerian political advocate, a strategist, a civic mobilizer. She's dedicated to expanding women's participation and leadership in governance. She is widely recognized for championing gender inclusion through her work, Women for 35%, her voice, her vote, and her future. So, madam, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. So, thank you for having me on Click Niger.
Click Niger.
Click Niger.
Yes. We're so glad to have you.
Absolutely.
So let's set the ball rolling.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what exactly was a defining moment for you? Something that made you to decide that you wanted to help women, get into leadership, national development roles in Nigeria. Why did you decide? What was a defining moment for you?
Yeah. First of all, Morgan Elumelu is the foundation, but I am Aju Elumelu-James.
Yeah.
All right. Morgan Elumelu is this foundation is in honor of my father.
Okay.
My father that is gone. I was actually here during the last election. I dug in real deep, including the grassroots everywhere. And I was actually also an observer. And it was not funny what I saw. There was a lot of women in the sun, in the rain, come shine, come whatever. There's a lot of women campaigning. And then come time, and these women were highly dedicated. You look at them at times, I see them, I feel like shedding tears because you can tell they're grassroots folks and they gave all their widow's mite to this election. And then during the voting period, also, you see women under the sun and all that. But when you see after voting, that tokenism raises its head, and that's when you find women just getting the women leader position. And I internalized all of this. I didn't like it. I was talking to me, and I just said, no, I'm not going to do this. I just got back from Nigeria. I'm not going to go through this because it was a lot of pain. Watching the election and seeing all the going-ons in the election, it was I was traumatized, and I see some women just just crying on me because of Alu Elumelu Foundation. I started an initiative for them just because we're involved. And then I started a marketplace for them, for women. They were still not satisfied women because they had given everything, so they needed, handwork. So I started a marketplace that's still on today. And then when I went back and I got that call, I said, no, I'm not going to do it. But I saw myself getting up in the morning and getting my book. I don't know anybody in Abuja. I didn't grow up here, so why should I come to Abuja? But everything is digital. Everything is possible. Anything
Yes.
that you want to do is always possible. So digitally, I I decided to say, okay, well, Abuja, here I come. And then I got exposed digitally to all the women organizations in Nigeria. Then I got exposed to, all their presidents. And I just started making all that calls. Every one of those shockingly based organization threw their arms open for me. I said, oh, okay, you're doing something in Abuja. I started to launch in Abuja, and that happened on May 22nd. Oh, you're launching? Okay, we want to come with you. We'll give you 40 people. We'll give you 30. We'll give you this. Women, we're ready. It's hammer time. And, that was when I said, whoa. I was walking in by, before you know it, I had, like shoulder to shoulder of women in the hall. And you will hear some of them decrying what is going on. And
So it's not that women are not ready right now. So because you see that Nigeria operates under this patriarchal framework, and this is one of the major barriers, that is preventing women. Do you think it's possible for Nigeria to actually achieve that 35% inclusion for women in governance?
it is very possible. And I'm going to tell you, you have a lot of men that don't like the situation. A lot of men are saying, you know what, this country is already down. Let's try women. Let's see what women can do. So, yes, it is possible. It is possible also because the onus is on us. It's not on the men. A lot of times we put this on the men. It's women that are the major problem. Yes, we have problems in the society, and it starts from when we were born. Our fathers would say, oh, let's just put women. Oh, don't you know that you're a woman? You can't do this. You can't go out. You can't play, but you can't do this. Or stay home and cook and serve your brother, maybe your twin. You find yourself serving your brothers in the house that you're older than. So it starts from there. So when these men are going on, you got to understand all this patriarchal thing. It's women that raise these men. It's women. Women are their wives. The girls are their kids. And all of that. So there's nothing that women cannot handle. But we need to stop blaming stuff on the men. When you see that a situation is bad, we women have to rise to the occasion and say, what, we're gonna have to change this. And
I'm going to take you up on that because you see now women are rising up to the occasion, but we have 3% already in the House of Assembly. The 3% that we have now in the House of Assembly or in governance in the seat of power, what are they doing? Can you mention one of them that has really, really done something that is so prominent that people can say, okay, women that are there, they're actually working,
Okay, I'm going to say this. In 1995, the whole world, it was a world problem where women were not in leadership positions. And, the world said, okay, well, let's go to Beijing. And they had the Beijing Declaration. That's 1995, over 30 years. And most countries, Nigeria ranks right now out of 190 something, 189. Nigeria ranks 185. Nigeria is at the bottom of the total poll. This is a poll right here. Nigeria is right there. And all the countries in Africa, they have risen to the occasion. 61% in Rwanda, then you have in Ghana, you have everywhere.
Yeah.
But Nigeria has not done that. Yes, I'm going to say this. Out of 109 senators, only 3 are women, or 4. Out of 360 House of Rep members, only 16 are women. So if you add 16
And 3
and 4,
and 4.
and then you add 36 and 105, you will see that this is abysmal and pathetic. Nigeria is a joke of a nation. We think it's a joke that, Nigerian women that are highly regarded all over the world for their brilliance and intelligence cannot even sit on the table. That's what it means. It means that when you bring 11 chairs, and sit the House of Senators, that women can only sit on 4 chairs. What does that tell you? It tells you, what does that tell our girls? My daughters, come back to Nigeria, I bring in my daughter, and I said to my daughter, sorry, you cannot be, you can, it's capped going up all the way to the government, you cannot be there. So it's we're gonna have to change that, and we can only change that through women. Women needs to rise to the occasion, And then let me answer your question directly. What we found right now is that a lot of women that are in position, it looks like, it appears that, I don't know their mindset, it appears that they don't even want women to come on. You know what I'm saying? You're in a position, if I'm in a position and I'm the only one talking, and I have 100 and something men surrounding me, I will cry out. I will do everything I can to make sure that I help institute programs for women that will make them rise.
Let them see you.
Yeah, let them see.
Yes.
And that's where we are now. So that question she asked is a very legitimate question. The women in power now, what have they done? What have they really done to help other women?
It takes the women to make the change that they want.
Absolutely.
Okay, what do you think? Do you think this initiative has been treated as a serious governance priority or just a symbolic promise?
Okay, let me tell you this. Women for 35%. We actually came last year, May 22nd. And what we did after the launch, I went back to the US. Yeah, I know that I cannot operate here because of electricity, this, electricity, that. Went back and I walked back to back to back. And what we did, we got in every state. If you go to Lagos now, in all 20 local government, we have women for 35. So we started operating. And how did we do it? We did it because we had to look for women who already have structures. That's what I had to do. Because this initiative, it cannot be the first ever in Nigeria. There have been people who did that, and there are women who truly want the secret and status quo to change. So we use women that have structure, and we develop them. We make sure that that structure trickles down to the grassroots. So in all the states, that's what we're doing. Just trying to make sure that we appoint ambassadors, we appoint coordinators, and give the coordinators mandate to get their own escorts. And because if you give them that chance, they're going to do things on their own. And what are we trying to do about this? You did say something that, how is that going to work? It is going to work. Because we're not just going to get women from all over the place. It's not going to happen, and not on my watch will I just say, okay, well, use emotion to bring a woman, come and run for governor. All the coordinators have been mandated. Please don't look at a woman because she's your friend. Don't look at someone because she's your relative. Okay. Look at the power of that woman that we're going to push, so that when these women come out, we know after we give their training, we know that they're ready to change the status quo.
So we have women that have what it takes
Right.
to actually go out there and make a difference. Now let's talk about campaign funding. What does your organization do, or what can your organization do to create that difference? Because we're talking about campaign funding, right? We're talking about 500 million, naira for someone to say, I want to run for this position. Where do you think a woman will get that kind of money from? What is your foundation?
Okay, let me tell you, the foundation cannot afford that. I'm going to tell you right off the back. And that's what makes us different. A lot of people will say, women just want it to be handed over. But I'm trying to tell them, there's a difference between us, a lifetime difference between men and women in this country. The men have been in it, the men are in money. Women, we're the ones that break to go have children. We're the ones that have to take care of children. We're the ones that have to take care of these men in governance. And that is why. So when you go work, you go to a company and work, somehow you have to break because you're pregnant. And then after that, so we don't have the money. And the difference between us and men is the fact that I can just look at you as a man. I'm a man, you're a man. And I say, you know what, you got what it takes. I want to spend money on you. I want to make you a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it's like, easy for them. But women, we don't have women. You just talked about women that will help bring up women. We don't have women.
So, what
The-
practical solutions do you think can be put
See,
in place to
it's-
cross this
yeah.
hurdle?
The practical solution is to have the party chairman give women a soft landing. I have met with a party chairman already, and some that have said, okay, just all over the country, bring me those women that are real, those women that can do it. Bring me those women, and that's what we want to do across board because the forms are expensive. So if we're able to get a hold of that forms, we can also look into it, especially after we get all these women. We're not packing a bunch of women just because we want them to be. We have to look for capable women. There are women that are decent, women that will help. Project women in very good light and that will work and take care of our country. That's what we're trying to get. So that money, after that, we'll try to see the possibility of crowdfunding, see if we can, do fundraising for those women.
Okay.
We need that for their training, and we need that for, possibly seeking international organizations who are, by the way, interested in women getting
Because
into.
that crowdfunding is very important. So you have been watching Sassy and Real on Click Niger online channel. Please make sure that you follow us on our socials, that's YouTube and Facebook at Click Niger, and on Instagram and X at Click Niger One. All right, so let's go back.
Talking about the strength of women in leadership, what strengths do our leaders, women leaders, have that is being underrated in the political culture?
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to start with this that Women for 35, we're not only seeking political leadership, we're seeking appointed positions, we're seeking elected positions, and we're seeking position across board. Okay, now, how have they neglected us? What kind of capability do women have? I just mentioned that women multitask, so we take care of everything in the house. That leadership is what they, just their ability. If you look at what they're doing, there's a governor, you have to deputize. This, you have to deputize. But we need to be governors. At some point, we need to be presidents at some point. So that leadership, be a commander in chief in whatever it is, be it a tiny office, be it whatever it is, the ability for the women to be the commander in chief. And steer a company, steer folks, to success.
Yeah. So you said something the other time how you have this empathy. Before you went back to the US, you had this empathy. That what women are going through in the country and all that. So if you could change two things, to accelerate women's representation in both elective and appointive positions, what are those two things?
Well, those two things is the ability of women to truly make money and lead themselves. That is one. That thing is a problem. It's like a bottle and neck. And then the second thing is for leaders to make sure. One of the greatest thing is the fact that women in a job situation are being yacked off. When it comes to this, after they give birth and all of that, it looks like they go down the hill. So we want to make sure that women still are where they're supposed to be after the childbirth. You give birth. And at some point, President Clinton changed some few things on how long you can be on maternity leave, and he realized that women really needs that time. So after that, when you remove all those bottlenecks from women, so that when they come back, they can just start from where they start. Yes.
Yes.
So, talking about the involvement and inclusion of women, will you say this has been like a token appointment, or is it a true inclusion in the political, or talking about women position
Ah,
as like?
yeah, oh my goodness, it's a bit small. It's a bit small. Say after all the hoopla, after all the running around, after being in the rain, after the men just give them wrappers, wrappers, just and then rice, bag of rice, and the women are just struggling. After that, when they live there, they're not going to see this man in another 4 years. So yes, it's always once you give a woman, that woman leader, and that's it. And just look at what happened recently. That just threw me, because this affirmative action reserve seat for women is in the air right now. It's kind of like in your face. When I did women for 35%, I had some people from house come in. I had leaders of party come in. I have spokesmen of former spokesmen. I had all these people coming. But and then it was well carried. It was everywhere in the news. Come, the ambassadorial position. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. They're gonna give women position. Out of 68 ambassadors, 59 women.
Only one.
What an injustice. Just add that up. It has to trickle down. And that's why we're going before the National Assembly. You're going to have to change policies, because if you don't make it a policy issue, folks are not still going to do what they want to do.
So we get to hear about when people say that women mismanage power, they mismanage leadership. Because looking at the case of Dizani and Anima Farouk, you hear that means that people believe when women are put into this position, they tend to take it to their advantage and not delivering what they're supposed to.
Men also do that.
Can you believe that? If you want statistics, first of all, I have said it that we have to be deliberate about the women that come to power.
Yes. Yes.
You don't just say, let's put our brother, our sister, or someone that you don't know, and then you put their affairs and then put it in their hands. And then, first of all, who's selecting who? You are what you attract. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Because if okay, look at and that's what goes on. Everybody's saying, oh, the few women that I can count on my hand have done something wrong. So that's going to be all women have to pay for it. Whereas men have been doing it in millions, in thousands, doing all kinds of things against our country, against democracy, against that. No, they're not seeing that. So what we're trying to do, like I said, is to make sure that we find women with clean character, women with compassion, not a woman that will get up there and all your constituents cannot even reach you. A woman with capability, a woman that has intellect. And, think about it too. Look at, you're talking about 5 or so women. Look at the women that have taken the world, like Dora Queen, Okonjo Iweala, and some of these women. They're in position. Look at the women in banking. Look at them. We have more as pluses than as minuses. Those are the few tokens that did all kinds of things that have maligned women. That is why when it's time, a lot of our women, all our women must go through training, and then you have to, before you say to a party, this is my list, you have to look at every woman and see, you can't account for every woman, but at least give that training, and then make sure that it's women of integrity that you're dealing with.
Yeah. So one of the things that you are doing right now is boldly speaking, about this policy, because it seems that it's just been in written form. It has not been actually actualized in the country. So finally, I want to ask you: is there any hope right now, for the future of women representation in Nigeria in governance?
It
Is
is
there any future hope?
Yeah, there's hope. Election is coming soon, and we just want to tell women, vote women. We had a dark history where a woman came out and only got a vote. That was a dark history. And women, you're better than that. We need to rise. We need to, those of you that are intimidated. Earlier on, someone asked you, I'm going to put her on the spot. Someone asked her, was that you? That asked her, will you run for office? And this is what I get. This is what I get with all women. And, there are women that you need to, they don't know what they have in them.
Yes.
Until you take a good look and say, you know what, we need you to shake it. And try it. You do it at home. You take care of home. You take care of your community. You take care of people at your church. If you can do that, why can't you do that?
If you could do anything to push women's representation in politics, in governance, what will you do?
I will remove all money problem, because that's our problem. Our major problem is that money. Yes, that's what it is. You remove the form problem, and then you give women the cash to say, okay, give us a head start. Give us a head start. And you see how women will manage this money. They will manage this money and then do a viable, very viable campaign. And that's what, at some point, we're going to have to, have women and start saying, please do this crowdfunding. This person is from this state and it's ADC. This person, we don't care. Yeah. We don't care about the party. We don't care about where you come. We care about women we care about that number. It shouldn't have in governance, and then we're looking at the president, we're looking at the National Assembly, and we're telling them this policy about 35% affirmative action, let it go across the board so that everywhere a woman works, every company, women will have representation in leadership. You have to put women at the table when you're making policies. And then the danger in having, a single digit, like 3 to 4% in the House of Assembly. It means that everything about women, we have no representation.
Yes.
None.
No representation.
None.
Women are better managers. So the best thing you could do is to give the cash to the women, because they will manage it well.
That is just the truth.
As women, we are always real because we keep things real.
Yes. Yes.
And then the amazing thing is not to have men come influence that women. Like you say, Aju, you know what? Let's bump up 6 million and make it 100 million. I will never go for that. I would rather leave my position.
We should also know that governance starts from the home. How do you encourage the girl child? So let's push and encourage our girl child in our house, in our homes.
All right. So we say a big thank you to our guest, Alu Elumelu-James, the convener, Alu Elumelu Foundation. This has been Sassy and Real, where representation is not a favor and leadership is not gender owned. If this conversation stirred your thinking, share it with a friend. Progress doesn't move because we agree quietly. It moves because we engage boldly. Until next time, stay informed, stay vocal, and stay real. Bye.